Real quick before we dive in, this isn't financial advice. This is just educational. Trading is risky, so always do your own research. Cool? Alright, let's get into it. Ever notice how the market bias goes totally quiet before a big move? It looks calm, and then suddenly price can expand with a lot of energy. That's exactly the kind of environment Bollinger Bands are built to show you. So check this out. Bollinger Bands are one of the most widely used indicators in trading, and the best part, they're completely free. Here's how they actually work. Bollinger Bands have three lines. First, the midline. That's a moving average. It tracks the general trend. Then, you've got the upper band above it and the lower band below it. These bands aren't just random lines. They're calculated using a standard deviation, which means they expand and contract based on market volatility. Basically, they can help tell you when the markets come and when it might be about to move. So, let's break it down. When the bands squeeze and tight, that's low volatility. Prices are stuck in a range. Moment is cooling and it feels quiet. But here's the kicker. That squeeze doesn't last forever. Usually a potential breakout setup is brewing right there. And when it happens, the move can be powerful. On the flip side, when the bands push wide apart, that's high volatility. The market's moving fast, big swings are happening, and you really need to pay attention. Quick question. Have you ever seen this squeeze on your charts? Drop a yes in the comments if you have. Once you spot it a few times, you'll start seeing it everywhere. Now, by default, Bollinger Bands use a 20-period moving average with a standard deviation of 2. But here's the thing, we do not have to stick with that. The indicator is flexible, and adjusting it can give you clear signals that align with your own trading style. Here's a simple tweak that can make a big difference. Open up the settings window. First, look at the length. That's the moving average. Instead of leaving it to 20, bump it up to 55. Why 55? Because it can help smooth out short-term noise. You're not reaching to every tiny wiggle anymore. Instead, you can focus on the bigger picture trend, which can help you build a more consistent approach to analyzing the market. Next, scroll down to the standard deviation. By default, it's set to 2. Change that to 1. This pulls the outer bands closer to price action, making them more sensitive. So instead of white bands, these tighter bands can provide sharper signals. They may help highlight supply and demand zones and make potential breakouts levels easier to spot. And that's just the foundation. In the next part, I'll show you how the setup can be applied in live trading market conditions, and that's where things really get interesting. If you're finding this part helpful so far, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helped me know to make more detailed breakdowns like this. Alright, now let's tweak your chart so the Bollinger Bands really stand out. I'm gonna show you exactly what I do step by step, so just follow along. Before we jump into the trading strategy, here's a technique for potential refining your entry points. We can do this by adding a confirmation indicator like an SMA. When you first add it, the default period is short, which is fine for some stuff, but for confirmation, we want to see the bigger picture. So go into the settings and change the length to 200. This gives you a long-term trend perspective, which helps filter out market noise and avoid potential false signals. And while you're there, tweak the color or thickness so it's easy to see on your chart. Trust me, these small adjustments can make a huge difference in spotting clear setups without second guessing yourself. And hey, before we move on to trading examples. If you're looking for more free in-depth trading strategy breakdowns, check out my playlist called Swing Arm ATR Trend Indicator. It's packed with step-by-step illustrations of different strategies that can pair well with setups like Bollinger Bands plus SMA. Seriously, if you want to see practical, actionable trading examples without paying a dime, you might find that playlist very helpful. Alright, so back to the strategy. Here's how you can use the 200 SMA to help determine trend direction. Super simple. If price is above the 200 SMA, the market is considered to be in an uptrend. If it's below, that's a downtrend. Easy, right? You can also watch how price reacts to the line. If it bounces off and keeps moving the same way, that suggests the trend is strong. Think of the 200 SMA like a long-term filter. It helps you trade with the trend instead of fighting it, which can make analyzing setups more straightforward. Check out this BTC 1-hour chart. Right now, the trend appears to be down because the candles are below the 200 SMA. See this tight Bollinger Band squeeze here on the chart? Notice how price is trapped? That's a key condition to watch for. Once the BB squeezes, a trader using this method would patiently wait for a breakdown to the downside because this strategy focuses on sell signals in a downtrend. Boom. When the breakdown happens, that's where this strategy signals a potential entry for sell position. Now for money management, under this method, a stop loss could be placed just above the upper BB line, the SMA line, or the recent swing high. For a take profit target, one option is to trail it using the midline of BB or set a risk to reward ratio like 1 to 2. According to this method, when price hits the midline, that could be a signal to take profit and exit the trade. Quick buy example here, same BTC chart. Price is above the 200 SMA. A trader would look for a BB squeeze, wait for potential breakout up, and at that point the strategy would indicate a possible entry for a buy. A stop loss could be below the lower BB or SMA, with a take profit at the middle line or using a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. And that's a quick overview of how the buy setup could form according to these rules. And stick around, cause next I'm gonna walk you through a simple trading strategy on the screen so you can see exactly how it works in real time. And you'll know I highlighted the key entry criteria so you don't miss a single detail. Check out this recommended video on the screen. Happy trading!